In terms of then neural pathways and networks, so remember, we are interested in brain areas and what they're doing. We've kind of gone from the bottom up, and I've tried to highlight the brain areas that I think are most important for mental health experts to know. Now I want to talk a little bit about pathways and networks. And with 86 billion neurons, and they're each connected to thousands of others, you can guess about how many options for pathways there are. There's a lot, like many, 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 many billions. I'm just going to go over a couple. So the two networks that I just want to distinguish between are, first of all, the cognitive control network and the default mode network. And then I want to go over 3 different pathways in the brain, which are pain, stress, and reward. I have 3 basic ones. And within these, they get somewhat complex, but I want to pull out the most important areas of the pathways for you to know. And you've probably noticed, we've all probably noticed this, that when your mind wanders, it tends to wander towards certain things more than others, right? It's just kind of the way it goes. And it's not a terrible thing to be in this network, by the way. It's not like some awful thing. But there is a decent amount of research showing that happiness or life satisfaction is associated with being more in the cognitive control network. And that's because cognitive control means that you're focused on something in the present moment. So it's a little bit more closer to maybe mindfulness, right? I'm not equating the two, but you're more in the present moment. And there's some research that already indicates that being in the present moment, even when the present moment kind of stinks, like it's not a fun present moment, but you're in it, in this network, you actually report being happier than when you're just in default mode. But this is relevant, I think, for a couple of things. So first of all, when we talk about depression, this is going to be really relevant because in depression, what's happening is that there's a lot of default mode activation, and that it's tied to certain areas that make basically ruminations really distressing and uncontrollable. So we're going to talk more about it when we talk about depression. So that's why it's good to know. But also just when think about doing therapy and being in the therapy room with someone, you begin to think about, okay, what areas of the brain are activated or not activated, and what network do we want people to be in? So the question for you is, when somebody's in therapy, which network do you want them to be in? Cognitive control, right? Okay, and a big reason why, first of all, they're probably not going to get much out of the session, right? And if they're daydreaming the whole time. But a big reason why is that when we're working with someone, we want to be producing brain change. There's no such thing as any sort of change without brain change. Change in thoughts, changing emotions, changing behaviors. Any sort of change is brain change.